Welcome back. This is episode 158 of the Veterinary Business video show. In this episode, we'll consider the relative merits of the ATV, the ACT, and the ARP, and we'll hear why there aren't more women leaders in the veterinary profession. We'll see a discussion about the growing number of vet schools and veterinary graduates in the UK. We'll learn how to deal with a bully in the workplace, and I'll offer you my quick business tip for this episode. I'm John Sheridan, and this is the video show from Veterinary Business. What key performance indicators do you monitor in your practice? There are dozens of useful KPIs, and every owner, manager or consultant will probably recommend their own special top 10. The average transaction value, for example, the ATV, or if you are in practice in the USA, the ACT, the average charge per transaction, is commonly used to monitor trends over a period of time and to compare the financial performance between practice branches or individuals. But no single measure can provide all the information you need, and any individual KPI can raise even more questions. That's their purpose, of course, as part of your practice management toolbox. Here's a clip in which Martin Traub-Werner, Chief Executive of Vet Success, debates the relative merits of the ACT and the ARP with a colleague. What's the ARP? It's the average revenue per patient.
Really excited to have this conversation because you and I had a moment where we talked about we've been using ACT, average client transaction cost, as a benchmark for a really long time, and you're advocating that we be looking at a different metric. I happen to be a strong proponent of that, and so I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. My issue with the ACT is about the fact that it's not measuring what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is to get people to come to the practice as many times as possible throughout a measured period. And the ACT is measuring one visit, which in the big picture is not very relevant anymore. So in my opinion, I think it's time we find a measurement that would measure what it is that we're trying to do over a said period of time.
So I know you have one in mind.
I do.
And I'm going to get there.
Okay.
It's interesting because I often talk about, Mrs. Jones who comes in every week to buy a can of cat food to say hi to the team at the front desk.
Love Mrs. Jones.
Right? And it's like a $5.80 transaction.
Yes.
You have 4 of them. That totally brings down your average client transaction cost, right? So
that's not it. If you provide ancillary services, your average client